Deputy Flanagan.
Thank you, Les Cian Corla. I don't know, is it a hangover from British rule in this country that really you're not a whistleblower if you blow the whistle on something in this country, you're a snitch. Because basically that's what you're classified as. And that is what Maurice McCabe have been classified by this state, snitch. John Wilson has been classified as a snitch. The clinician who blew the whistle on the one flew over the cuckoo's nest standard of care in the psychiatric institute in Galway, he is being classified as a snitch, when in fact they should be classified as heroes. Now, there might have been a reason for classifying people as snitches when we were ran by the British, because maybe you shouldn't be telling the authorities certain stuff because we're trying to run them out of the country. But in this case, it is our country now. We are running it, and if someone comes with vital information, they shouldn't be classified as a snitch. And they certainly shouldn't when meeting the confidential recipient who is now being fired for doing his job, and unlike what Micheál Martin said this morning, he did do his job, to be told, I'll tell you something, Maurice, and this is just personal advice to you, if Shatter thinks you're screwing him, you're finished. Like, if you've seen that in a film by Quentin Tarantino, you'd go, that's a really well-written script, but it falls down in one aspect. It's kind of a bit unrealistic. It's a bit over the top. But the reality is, it happened. Now, I spoke to John Wilson this morning. Again, I regularly talk to him. I don't talk to him on his advice. He doesn't talk to me on his mobile phone, on his advice. We go to landlines and change them on a regular basis. This is the whistleblower we're talking about. This is the man who had a rat tied to his door for doing the right thing. This is the man who has tittle-tattle and tales told about him behind his back within the Garda Síochána for what? For standing up for what's right and standing up for the law. And basically, his reward is to be pulverized by the state and attacked by the state. A true reward for people like John Wilson and Maurice McCabe is that instead of, in the case of John Wilson, having to run for fear of his life out of the Garda Síochána, he should have been promoted, and promoted higher and higher into the Garda Síochána, because he has conclusively proved that he is in this for one reason and one reason only, and that is justice. He has been vetted by the highest authority, which is his conscience, and he has come out and done the right thing. But instead, he's had to leave the job that he loved. He now has to live on far less money. His quality of life as a result of it has gone down. His reward for doing the right thing is, well, he's had the whistle shoved down his throat, and if you don't choke him on the way down, it seems like you're going to try and poison him when it gets to his stomach. It is sick what is happening to this man. It is twisted. It is wrong. And actually, Alan Shatter, the minister, has said that, you know, one of his jobs is to build confidence in the Garda Síochána. Confidence has never been lower. Now, the minister said yesterday at the committee that, well, he didn't think it was a problem. Well, I think he'd want to go out and talk to the general public. But, like, at this stage, as John Wilson said this morning, where can the Garda Síochána go if they have a problem? If a particular guard spots a particular problem with, let's say, a murder not being properly investigated, which we have plenty of examples of, rapes that are not being properly investigated, where do they go? They can go nowhere now, because the man they did go to was fired for doing his job. In fact, Oliver Connolly, in a sense, was a glorified postman, and his job was to take the documentation and to pass it on. He was so concerned about it that he didn't actually go to the commissioner, and he went direct to Alan Shatter. And what was his reward? His reward is he's out of a job today, when in fact Alan Shatter should be out of a job. Now, this doesn't only just go on within the Garda Síochána, it goes on in all walks of Irish life. If you are a county councillor and you try and do the right thing and you report pollution or you spot that money is being embezzled or wasted, what happens to you? Are you rewarded? No, you're not rewarded. You are punished. In fact, on many occasions when I reported pollution and when I reported things that were going on, I had a couple of councillors come up to me with concern in a fatherly sort of way, going, do you know, Luke, you'll get nothing done if you keep coming out saying the council are polluting. But they are polluting. Oh, we know that. But if you keep saying this, they'll get back at you. Well, they got back at us 2 years ago. They closed down our swimming pool for the month of June for the first time since 1945. That was the reward. And I know for a fact they'd have closed it completely, only the backlash, they wouldn't be able to take it. That is your reward. Now, we hear apologies in this chamber about what was done to people in the Magdalen laundries and was done in various institutes. The reality is, if they were there today and someone was working in it and they came out and blew the whistle on it, they would be the ones that would be punished. You might say, no, that wouldn't happen. What happened in the Magdalen laundries was too extreme. We'd certainly listen to these people. Well, the reality is, in the last week, we have a whistleblower. His name is Joe, and he's quite proud to put his name out there, worried originally, who told us, and I said it yesterday in the Dáil, that basically 31 patients with mental health issues now have only 3 showers to use. Now, when he put this information out there, he was immediately contacted by the HSE, who threatened him with disciplinary action. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you work in the health service and you're a clinician and you have any mass on the Hippocratic Oath on what's right, you come out and you tell people what's going on. But these people who are doing this are being threatened with being fired.
Thank you,
but they still do it. But sadly, the message from this government is, shut up, keep quiet, know your place.